All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to our January 7th community test. Happy New Year. We are getting started with working with RNode version 8.2. That's the version we released yesterday. A couple things to attend to today. First is the worksheet. The information that you need for testing today is available here. That's the worksheet. If you are just joining us and haven't gotten started yet with RDoctor, we are using a new version of RDoctor today. RDoctor is a log aggregator. It helps us to collect logs from nodes running on the network and supports us being the dev team with debugging and observing how the network performs or how nodes are operating on the network. So information for RDoctor is in this link here. Please feel free to come off mute or use chat to ask questions. We would like everyone to run with RDoctor today. So it might take a few minutes for everyone to get started in that space. And then finally, since we are going to launch the network with known and bonded validators, I need everyone please to report your key into this Google form that I'm giving a link to here. So we're going to spend a few minutes making sure, number one, everybody is set up and ready to run with RDoctor. Number two, make sure everyone's had a chance to report their public key. And then when we have everybody's public key, we'll take a moment for Tomasz to use that information to create the bonds file and to launch the network. Any questions at this point?
I see your Google Forms, so no.
By the way, I would like to remind you that RDoctor will ask you, the startup will be interactive. You will need to input name and email. It's optional. And after that, it is just first initial setup.
Okay. This is some serious testing. It's cool.
We're very serious here at RChain.
I like the way you said that.
Yes. All right, I see keys from 3 of you. Can you either use chat or come off mute and let me know if you are not ready with RDoctor? No worries, Will. Take your time.
I cannot get my RDoctor run because when I fill my nick and email and after it asks for yes or no, I press yes and it asks me again for my name or nick.
That's Parish. Sure. Hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
Does it happen to anyone else?
I try to run RNode in standalone mode with our doctor.
Yeah, I did RNode, sorry, RDoctor and RNode, and it asked me to name. I've write the name and nothing on the email, and now it gives me just the options that you have on the comments. So it seems like it worked.
Sorry?
So it seems it works for you?
Yeah, it seems so. I don't know because I'm not running RNode yet. So
I see. Nadzipa, do you have try to not press yes, just enter.
yeah, yeah, you have to say no there.
Yeah, it worked.
Oh, I see. It's possible that you have which keyboard layout do you have?
No, it's the question is edit again, and he was
It is
asking
in
yes.
the chat.
It's
Oh,
supposed to write no.
I see.
So it's
It
not.
is in the chat. So
Yeah, exactly.
so there should be a bug somewhere.
What do you mean?
Look at the chat. There's a logo from my console. So I entered yes. Why?
Yeah,
So,
you should enter no.
The question is edit again.
sorry.
It's okay.
I feel stupid.
No, being stupid is my job. You guys can't take that prize from me. All right, let me just do a quick check-in. I hear people are still working with getting our doctor set up. I see 6 of you have reported keys. Hey, Pavitra, welcome. If you've recently joined, we are making sure that everyone is getting started with RDoctor, which is a log aggregation tool. I'm putting a link here in the chat. That is a link to the README. You're welcome to get started with RDoctor. We would like everyone to give it a go. We'd also like everyone to report your public key on this form here. If you could prioritize that, I'd like to get all the keys in so that Tomasz can create that bonds file and we can get the network launched. So let me give about 3 more minutes to get your keys in. Please make that your priority right now.
Do we have a bootstrap address at this point?
Not yet. We'll share it once Tomasz launches it with the bonds file.
All righty.
Sorry, can I use RDoctor with Docker?
It is no longer available in Docker.
Yeah, but can I use it with my Docker Compose?
Yeah, sure, you can, but it's a little bit more involved. Let me write to
Probably you have to edit the entry point or something like that, because I guess the entry point is RNode. Or...
You see, you can do this in.
Oh, just output of the logs. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks.
You should write that in the README. It's interesting.
Yeah. I plan to add better integration.
All right, does anybody not entered their key that wants to enter their key? Bonding is not an option during this testing session. Oh, good news, Pavitra. I'm glad you had a holiday break. So you do need to bring down your node, and we're going to an update with the new version. So if your node is currently running, do bring it down and clear your data directory and prepare to install the version we're using today. I'm giving a link here to the worksheet. But before you do that, can you put your key, please, in the form so we can create the bonds file?
I have downloaded 0.8.2.
Excellent. That is correct.
So,
The address of RNode will not change. It's in chat.
Hey there, Joshy. Welcome. This is are you going to run a node?
I don't need to hold everybody up. I know I'm getting in late.
Well, okay. I'm going to give you a 60-second opportunity to put your key in. Do you want to put your public key into the bond? If you can report your public key there, we'll get you in the bonds file.
I can do that in 60 seconds. Thanks.
Perfect. I knew you could.
hey, so I'm coming after break. Can you remind me the process? I need to run that in standalone mode to get the keys. Was that the procedure?
That is, if you do not have a key set available to you, that is the way to do it. So you'd run in standalone. Node will provide you with five public keys, and then you can look inside one of those to determine the private key. Now, the easier way is if you already have a key set available, just use a key set that you already know. Is that a possibility for you?
No. How do I know where to look for that key set? Like I have logged into my Amazon console. Just a minute. So where to look for? I mean, better let me quickly run that in standalone mode, and then I
Okay.
will look.
Okay. Thanks, Joshy. Thanks, NetZipper. Pavitra, there's a clue in the chat for you.
Just pick one file, and the name of the file is a public key, and the content of it is private key.
Yeah. So I have just now done my in standalone mode. RNode run -s, and oops, there's some exception. Data in our space is corrupted. Okay, I need to delete them. Okay, just a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. But did it generate the keys for you?
Sorry?
Did it generate the keys for you?
Which folder should I look for? Sorry, I'm missing that.
Yeah, no worries. If you look in the chat, NetZipper give a clue where to look.
If I look where?
In the chat for the Zoom for this meeting.
Okay, just a minute. Chat. RNode Genesis and then star. Just a minute. Genesis.
Is that the bootstrap address I see there from Tomas?
Yes.
Oh, I will. I'll put it in.
No.
Still started.
Tomas, this is why we never share it.
Yeah, sorry.
So quick.
Okay, I will not put it in.
You're welcome to update your run command. Please do not run no.
Press return.
Oh my word.
You got
it. There are 5 files with extension sk.
Yeah, choose one.
So should I open one of them? VI.
Yes, and when you open one, what the content of that file is the private key.
All right, and the name of the file is the public key. Right?
That's correct. Yep, perfect.
All right.
And if you'll drop the public key into this form, I'm putting the link back in the chat there.
Google form. Okay. Public key, and what is your first name _ handle Pavitra? Submit. All right, I have submitted it.
Excellent, wonderful. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
All righty. Let me give this to Tomas. Tomasz, I'm putting this link in Discord for you.
Okay.
All right, so now Tomasz is creating the bonds file. We will wait for him to complete that. Once the bonds file is complete, he will launch the network. He'll bring up a Bootstrap node and a couple validators that will be doing some validating automatically. And of course, as you join the network, if you have provided your public key, you would, when you bring up your node, you would also be a recognized validator on the network and would also be able to deploy and propose. We'd like to ask at the outset, there are some rolling contracts in the worksheet. Let me post the link again to the worksheet. Here is the link to the worksheet. We would like you to start by only deploying either of these contracts. These are contracts that we have confidence in because they don't create conflicts. It's a nice way for us to get started. And then likely, as we did the other week, we'll deploy some other contracts as we move further in the session. While we're waiting for Tomasz to get ready, I want to draw your attention that when you bring up Node with version 8.2, if you haven't been playing with it over the past, I would say 5 days, you'll notice some different things. That type, there's so much messaging that comes along as soon as you start running Node. You'll notice some changes in the messaging related to metrics. You'll notice some changes in messaging related to getting the Genesis block. It will tell you that it has some information that looks scary because it says I think it's in the header message, but do not fear. That is perfectly normal. Of course, the Genesis block doesn't have parents. You will also notice that your node asks other peers for the fork tip choice. So just know that as you start to run Node, you'll see and observe some different things. You'll also see and observe some different things as your node adds blocks to the DAG, just in terms of how Node reports on the block that it's adding and its relationship to other blocks.
Okay, I'm waiting for Bootstrap to start.
Okay, excellent. So let me grab for everybody. Please do not run your node yet, but here is the Bootstrap address. It's in the chat, and you can take a moment and get your run command ready with the correct Bootstrap. Make sure you have your private key in there.
Do I need to start RNurse, or is this not needed anymore?
It's called RDoctor, and actually, I see you are running it already.
Ah, good. What about the session key?
And not needed anymore.
Okay, cool.
So Bootstrap is up.
Excellent. So with that, everyone, if you are ready to run Node, you're welcome to do that with the Bootstrap that's in the chat window there.
All right, here we go. And we want the RDoctor command first, right?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Great.
Ugh, the worst.
All right, well, I'm already to valid approved block received.
Excellent. I will share my screen for those of you who would like to follow along. So you can see here, if you're looking at my screen, I've received the Genesis block. This is the hash of the Genesis block. It says that sender is empty, but of course it is because it's the Genesis block. It has none parents. And I see that I'm making a shift. The shift being here that the Casper instance is coming up. You can also see that I've requested the fork tip from peers. Team, I do find this odd that I'm requesting a fork tip from peers when I don't have any peers. But I guess it means that I'm going to request once I have peers.
I have the same. I have like the request for tip, and then after that I get the first peer.
Okay.
Same
So
here.
it's always fun to ask things of your friends before you actually have them. So here you can see that, of course, we have other validators on the network. And so there was traffic there, and I've received block 2. I'm attempting to add it to my DAG. And of course, block 2 has parents, and my node recognizes that it's missing them. So it's requesting those missing blocks. I'm still at this fork tip because I only have the Genesis block on my local DAG. And look at here, I received block 1. And in the process of adding it.
May I interrupt for a minute?
Please.
We are having this infinite loop in validator 3. So if you don't mind, I would like to stop it.
Okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
So Tomasz, do you want everybody to bring down their node?
No, just on our testnet.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so everybody, you can keep your nodes up.
Oh, 8 peers.
Hey, I am getting an exception. I have just put in a chat window. I think I need to delete everything under RSpace directory, right? Just look at that exception.
You are Polo? Sorry.
No, I'm Paul.
Pavitra has the error.
Okay.
Unused com event replay data multi-map has 10 events left or something. I think I need to clear my RSpace directory, right?
Did you clear it before you started running?
Yeah, I did that. Let me do it again.
Please do clear the RSpace directory and try again.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Awesome, thank you.
Oh. Why? Why can't I get peers today? Peer count.
Oh, the bootstrap. Sorry, the bootstrap just hit the infinite loop.
Wonderful.
So
does that mean if people who are not connected will now not be able to?
Well, I'm not sure. It just says in the loop.
It will escalate, but it will still work for some time.
Okay.
So I have some behavior that maybe is an infinite loop. I'm not sure. I have the same 4 lines scrolling by my terminal. Something about deleted a file, received.
Actually, it stops for a while on bootstraps, and then it goes again in delete, received for choice, delete.
Yeah, there is receive it, delete it, stream.
Yeah, the deleting file, that's normal, right? Because we've asked Node to delete things that it doesn't need anymore. I think that's accurate.
I think that the difference is I'm getting the same 4 lines multiple times per second. That's
that's not right.
At least 50 times.
It happened to me, but it stopped.
What was that last?
It happened to me for like 30 seconds and then it stopped.
Okay, I will keep Bootstrap running.
So I'm giving deploy and propose at Go. Shazam.
So can we deploy and propose?
Yep. I was just able to.
Okay. I have 9 blocks now.
Okay. Me too. Is your block 0237?
What does fault tolerance for block mean?
It relates
Yes.
to the agreement of the validators that the block of the correctness, or is it the correctness? I'm not sure I'm using the right words. Ideally, you want fault tolerance to be above 0.
So the idea about fault tolerance is the question how much the given node is confident to finalize the given block. If the fault tolerance is 0 or more, then it reached a majority, then it means that the given block is finalized.
Gotcha.
The values are between -1 and 1.
I'm giving myself a refresher on how to visualize the blockchain. VDAG, that's right. All right, so if you're looking at my screen, I've been running Node. I'm connected to the Bootstrap, I'm joining you guys on the network, and ask Node to report its vision of what the DAG looks like, and this is it. You can see down here is the Genesis block. You can see, does this mean that I'm only aware of 3 validators, guys?
It means that your node is aware of 3 validators, yes.
Okay.
At least from the DAG perspective. That this doesn't mean how many validators are connected.
Right.
But this is the DAG, so how many validators were actually pushing blocks. And that's what you see.
I see.
And the dash lines are Casper justifications or secondary parents or what?
Yeah, the dash lines are justifications, and I will try to, if you add, I will show you what you can do. Kelly, could you add add 1 line to your graph? I will post to you what you should actually add. Just give me a second. It's in the chat window. So that last line, splines equals false. If you could just copy paste that and add it to your graph at the beginning, below the ranked deer.
All right, making sure. Below this.
Yes, below this. Enter, hit enter, and.
Like this?
Well, just the splines part. Just the.
Oh, just the, I'm sorry. Just the splines.
Yep.
Got it. Like this?
Yep.
Oh, it changed.
Sure did.
The topology is the same, right? Just the lines are straight now?
Yeah. They're just the lines, the justification lines are, they go through the other lines and they are straight in there. They are like straight lines. That's it.
Sorry, I had a error during proposal.
I see that. So if you guys turn your attention to the chat window, NetZipper has an invalid transaction. And we have your NetZipper. Is this your correct key?
A minute. Yes.
Okay.
This is my public key.
And Tomasz, can you confirm that his key is in the bonds file?
Let me check.
Thank you. And the other question, Zibert, had you had any success proposing prior to this?
Well, that was first
No,
time.
that was the first time. Okay.
Can you post your key in the chat?
I'll get it.
My node may have had a core meltdown.
Oh, never mind. I will find
Okay, you got it.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Jake, what's
No,
up?
core meltdown, I think.
What? You have a ginormous machine.
Yeah, it's the loop that Josh described, but with even less. Let me just compare it to what Joshy posted real quick.
Okay.
Steve. Oh no, it's the same. His is just in a smaller window, so it looked different. Yeah, it's doing that same thing that he put in Discord. So I could restart my node, or wait.
Well,
it did something else for just a second, but now it's back on its quest.
It will work after a while. So NetZipper, your key is in bonds.
Oh yeah, my
Okay.
key's in bonds.
No, going back to NetZipper. So NetZipper's key is in the bonds file. He is running your NetZipper. You're running with the corresponding private key. Did you confirm that? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So he got an invalid transaction.
Well, we have logs now, so we can analyze it.
Okay. Fantastic. I will file a ticket. All right, Will, you ran out of phlogiston. What was your flow limit originally?
Right. Yeah, so by default, the bonds, each bond have 1 million. Yeah, 1 million.
Oh.
So I guess it should be higher.
And by the way, the exception logs doesn't return from the proposed, it returns in the RNode doc logs. Do you get what I mean? The proposed, after I proposed the this block, the proposed is just stuck there, and the logs shows in the RNode.
Oh, I do understand what you're saying. I think we have a ticket out for that. I'll validate that, and if not, create a new one.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, propose hang for me also for some time.
All right, hangs is a relative term. What do you mean by
Yeah,
hang?
yeah.
Have you waited longer
Yeah,
than 30 seconds?
Yeah. No, I got exception now. Let me post.
Oh, you got an exception.
Yeah. So this deploy was successful, response success, then propose this saying this invalid block, invalid unslashable block.
All right, so first step, Tomasz, are you available?
Yes.
Can you validate that? I'll put in the chat. Can you validate that this key is in the bonds file?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, fantastic. And Pavitra, you're sure you're using the correct corresponding private key?
Okay, just a minute. I am using the same key, but that was the public. I have to use the file name. Good
That's
catch. Thank you.
right.
Thank you.
Upper needs messaging.
Okay.
Flow.
The error I posted in the chat, is it because the formal block the propose?
Error creating block. Will, did you get this related to your error with propose?
Yes, when I do the
Okay.
propose.
So someone on the dev team, does the error Will is getting relate to the issue he had with proposing? Or is this a different problem?
Looks different.
It does look different. That's a bummer.
This is what I see. A similar error.
Shouldn't I restart the testnet with higher bonds? Or with higher limit?
Hasn't been an issue before.
I set it higher and it shows this error.
Can you try? And what did you set it at, Will? All right, try with this.
Okay.
One question to the general public. Is anyone stuck fetching blocks from the network?
I restarted my node, so could be fetching blocks, yeah.
All right, I am block 19. Team, any concerns if we deploy any different contracts at this point?
Go for it.
Excellent.
I still encounter this error, but
Really?
we use different hash of the list, I think. The whole state of the list, the hash is different.
Yep, agreed.
Thomas, one question. If Will restarts his node, will the logs go away or will they be still available?
No, it's all stored in Elasticsearch.
So the only thing that comes to mind is please try restarting your node and see if it happens again. We have the logs, so hopefully we can investigate.
Okay.
Oh, thanks for the update, Joshi. And team, let me make sure I understand this correctly. The loop that people like Joshi are seeing, that is the PR that Artur just put in that's going into dev, we think. Is there a fix to this?
We think.
Okay, excellent.
It doesn't look like I'm receiving too many things compared to the past when I used to see a lot of logs anyway. So it just seems like I'm receiving a lot of stuff and a lot of logs, maybe multiple times, but not too fast.
Yeah, Tomasz, can you confirm the cadence of proposals on the testnet validators?
Well, cadence of proposals.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1 in 60 seconds.
Every
But
60 seconds.
yeah, it's random from 30 to 90.
Right. Okay.
And only on 2 validators. And
Right.
random.
Yeah, but that scales over the network because you will be getting the messages of properly computed blocks from everyone that computes a block. So everyone that
Right.
adds
I
a
see.
block to a DAG will still broadcast the block. So it escalates very quickly.
Paolo, I'm having the same thing, and I'm wondering, Pavel, if you can speak to this. We're unable to curl for peers, and I think it's related to the changes that Sebastian made. Can you look at the chat and confirm that that's what we should do to look for peers?
Wait, what?
Paolo and I are unable to use the curl command that we typically use to look for peers, to show peers.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is related to the work that Sebastian recently did.
Yes, that is correct, because I think we are moving away from Prometheus reporting.
Okay. Do you know how we can look for, how we can show peers?
There will be a better way, but for now you can just run RNode, and instead of running propose as you did right now, this is your screen, right? The
Yeah,
one
it's my screen.
Could you potentially run like RNode diagnostics?
Yes. And while I'm waiting for my propose to go through and do that, Pavel, can you give a synopsis of the changes that Sebastian made for the group here?
I can't, because
okay, that's no worries.
I'm not following this anymore.
Okay. I think without leading
And
in.
can you scroll up?
Yeah. Am I looking for peers?
Yeah.
Basically,
the type of peers. If you go up, you have a list, right? If you go up, there's a list, and this is the list. So one list is of the list of peers that you are connected to, and the other one which is discovered. So there's yeah, that's pretty much it.
In short, Paolo, we have a new metrics API, and there is information somewhere about that.
Yeah. So I need to count the lines here.
Yeah. Well, luckily it's not too many. Or do you have lots? 1, 2, 3, 4. I have none.
No, I have more than 20, I guess.
For your connected peers or your discovered peers?
Yeah, sure. You're right. Those are the discovered ones. Okay. I have 15 only.
I know it's a boring question, but is anyone stuck on fetching blocks? As in the infamous requesting a block and received a block again messages.
Isn't that silence beautiful?
Yes, it is. I'm so happy.
Seems I'm okay. I have block 22 now.
Oh, good.
I'm not sure. Give me some time, please.
Oh no, it's Łukasz. He will break everything.
I'll do my best.
All right, so I'm putting on my screen, if you're curious, an updated vision, a view of what my node thinks the DAG looks like. Again, Genesis is here at the bottom, and you'll see my node is now aware of validators that it wasn't aware of previously. And this is the view of the DAG according to my node.
So one thing I may add to it, if you guys are looking at the visualization, is that right now you can see that the block that is finalized is still the Genesis block, because not all the validators are taking part in proposing and deploying. The Casper has no way of finalizing just yet another block. That's
So
why
in this diagram, gray means final.
yeah,
Okay.
basically pretty much just filled. Like the fact that the box is filled with gray color.
Got it.
It
Okay.
means that it's finalized. So if you had like a smaller set of validators in the bonds file, and all of them were, proposing, after a while the finalization would just move up in the graph. Like it wouldn't have to. Right now, it has to just go all the way back to the Genesis block in order to calculate the tip, for example.
Okay, that makes sense.
I was just mentioning, like, just for people who want to understand the graph, like what it's actually saying. So the boxes are validators. The IDs are on the bottom.
Your looks much nicer and straight than mine.
Just add lines.
Yeah. Hey, Paolo, look at my screen. You need to add that, and then you get straight lines. Let's see what's in the chat here. Okay, so Pavitra, you've got 13 blocks, and you were able to deploy, propose, and you've been waiting for 3 minutes to propose. Pavitra, how much RAM is available to Node?
Sorry, can I ask a question about deployment process? I had a chat with Will, and it seems that we have the same issue. And should we deploy with the highest possible floor price or something? Because I deployed with a floor price 100 and got a error, and it seems Will deployed with a low price either. Can this be the cause of an issue, or we don't know?
Okay, so the flows are as follows. The flow limit is the amount of flow you're willing to spend over computation, and the flow price is the price at which you are willing to compute. So
yes.
If you make a flow price very high and the flow limit low, the computation will very quickly run out of flow to compute. So the rule of thumb is, as Kelly posted in the chat, to set a very high flow limit and a very low price. And the lowest acceptable price is 1. So for now, the rule of thumb is put the price at 1 and give it a flow limit that's high. For example, 1 billion or whatever. It will accept a lot. So I'm not saying it's the reason, but that's the rule of the thumb for deploying and proposing. And at the same time, has your propose finished? Because you're at block 13, so you might be catching up, and the node will not allow multiple proposals to happen at once. And if you're catching up to the DAG, you will be stuck catching up and not proposing. So could you give the logs a look and see if you're catching up.
And now I'm at block 27. So.
And the tip is for 25. Yeah, 25. So you should be caught up.
Yes. So if so we just don't know, and there is no way to fix. If I deploy one more contract with the correct values of price and limit, it won't catch up because there is some kind of internal issue causing the previous bad deploy.
Is there? That's my question. Is your propose still hanging?
Yeah, I cannot. No, it's not hanging. It falls out with the exception. Falls out with exception, internal deploy error.
Oh, this one. And did you? Oh, sorry. Did you try to restart your node?
No.
Could you?
Yes.
Awesome.
By the way, you can possibly run deploys with RDocker too, so that we can catch these errors.
All right, so I want to come back to the issue that Pavitra is having. He had an issue previously with being able to propose a block. We confirmed that he was using the correct keys. I'm saying this correctly. I believe he restarted his node. He tried again and got an invalid unslashable block. He has 16 gigs of RAM. Pavitra, the last thing I need to know is how many blocks does RNode show? So if you do RNode show blocks.
Sorry. Before we continue, what I'm reading here is that he got the private key, which was the name of the file. That's the other way around. The private key is inside, and the public key is the name.
Oh.
Is this message, Pavitra, could you verify that this message is right? Because
yeah, so then that is a
key is
mistake.
inside.
Then I need to then we need to restart the bootstrap node later. Then I have to, okay. Actually, I provided the content to you people, so that
that's the private key.
Oh, so the thing has been opposite.
That's
so
the reason why you're getting unslashable.
So that means I can't do anything right now because unless the bootstrap is restarted with the correct public key. So let me. So can you post the form once again? At least let me push the right public key once again. The link is upside, right?
Given the time, we're not going to restart the network just now.
Okay, sure.
We only have 5 more minutes, but that's good to know that's
good.
I think is the issue.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have about 5 more minutes. Does anyone have any other questions that you're running to? Just to recap kind of where we are so far, we we did catch a bug related to a validator having an invalid transaction. We have filing a bug for messaging where the operator needs to know about missing flow on the client side, not in the node logs. Any other bugs that we need to file for this session?
We need to keep in mind that the loop that people are observing might not be related to what was fixed in the recent PR.
Okay.
I would keep an eye on it because it doesn't look exactly the same.
Okay, that's good.
It's similar, but still.
All right. Definitely something we should pay attention to on Thursday, Dom.
Aye.
Any other issues that we should capture?
Sorry, have been the storing of the DAG on the disk persistent been implemented? Because I restarted my node and it started to download all the blocks and it's very slow. Now I'm on block 7.
No, it's not in yet.
Okay. I'll wait now for my node to synchronize. I try to propose once again with the correct phlogiston limits and price.
Okay.
And see if this helps.
Yeah, let's give it a try.
Ooh.
All right, we have about 2 minutes left. I'm curious to hang out for a few minutes in here, NetZipper, what your experience is. Anyone else have any questions or things that we haven't heard about yet today?
Can I deploy and propose now? And I'm on block at block 17. Can I propose now, or I should wait for 32?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Try to propose.
yeah, give it a go. I'm curious to see what happens.
Okay. Okay, proposing.
Anyone want to place a bet? What do you think is going to happen?
Meltdown. I vote for meltdown.
Oh, Dom. Invalid and slashables, my bet. Oh my gosh, NetZipper, I'm dying. What happened?
Still hanging.
Oh, okay.
Could it be because the other nodes are in that loop?
Or maybe just because my node is not synced yet.
The thing is that if you're catching up, if you're in the loop of catching up, no deploy or propose is allowed because Casper is not able to do both at the same time. It's fairly impossible. So if your node is trying to catch up and you propose at the same time, it will grab your console. Or it will say that Casper is busy, as in it's not available. But you may observe it hanging in the CLI. My question is, can you look in the logs and see if nothing broke while you were catching up?
Actually, I see messages like this. I don't know if it is because if it is my block that I want to propose.
No.
That's catch up.
It's well, you will see both, but if your proposal is hanging, then this most probably is catch up.
Oh, create it and edit.
Shazam!
Yes.
No way, it worked.
Wait. Did it work because he fully caught up, or because there was a break in the catch up that RNode proposed while there was a pause?
At the current implementation of catch up, it should not allow before it catches up to the block that it figured out it's behind on. So yes, there might be still a gap because there were blocks built on top, but the block that initiated the catch up needs to be caught up to allow further proposes.
Okay. So a nice to have would be node operator proposes and receives a message, hold please, we're still catching up.
It's hard to identify that you're catching up.
Okay, fair enough.
So yes, it would be nice, but I have yet to figure out how to say node is catching up at the moment, because that's not obvious.
All right. Let us wrap here. NetZipper, thank you for taking those extra steps, and for everyone who hung out for the extra time. So just to recap, we have a couple bugs that we're going to file, and we have a PR that's currently in related to some of that looping experience that you saw earlier, or some of you saw as operating node today. We will be testing that internally as a team on Thursday, and hope to be able to show you something that resolves that next week. As always, we do look forward to testing with you guys again next Tuesday at 1500 UTC. And in the meantime, I hope you guys take care, and we'll talk to you next week.
See you later.
Bye.
Okay, see ya. Bye.
Thank you very much. See you. Goodbye.